So this afternoon, let's keep going through Genesis. We're going to go ahead to Cain and Abel's story. Cain and Abel are the first example of murder in the Bible. What makes it even more interesting is that they were brothers. So let's read the story together and get into it. So here we go. So we're in Genesis chapter 4. The man was intimate with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, "I have had a male child with the Lord's help." She also gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel became a shepherd of flocks, but Cain worked the ground. In the course of time, Cain presented some of the land's produce as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also presented an offering, some of the firstborn of his flock and their fat portions. The Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but he did not have regard for Cain and his offering. Cain was furious and he looked despondent. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you furious, and why do you look despondent? If you do what is right, you won't you be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it." So that was already God's warning to Cain, as God knew what was about to come. So Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out in the field." And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's guardian?" Then he said, "What have you done? Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So now you are cursed, alienated from the ground that opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood you have shed. If you work the grounds, it will never again give you its yield. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." But Cain answered the Lord, "My punishment is too great to bear. Since you are banishing me today from the face of the earth, and I must hide from your presence and become a restless wanderer on the earth, whoever finds me will kill me." Then the Lord replied to him, "In that case, whoever kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." And he placed a mark on Cain so that whoever found him would not kill him. Then Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. How interesting, huh? That, despite what Cain did, the Lord still put a mark on him to protect him from anyone else killing Cain. It just shows again and again that the Lord has mercy. The Lord, despite what we do, the Lord will always show us mercy and grace, right? And then it just goes on with the line of Cain. And so Cain did have a wife. He was intimate with his wife, and he gave birth to Enoch, and the line goes on and on. I think that's the first, the first example that we have of envy and murder, which are 2 commandments in the Bible, which I've already touched on. And then I guess from then on, it just keeps going on and on and on. So tomorrow I will keep going with Genesis. But I think one thing that is important is, I've also touched on this topic too, is that it's so important to love your siblings. it can be hard, even me recently, I've even had my own little issues with my siblings, but I'm trying to let it go. I'm just letting it go, giving it to God. As hard as what it can be, it's just so important to not let your sin take you over, because then you will become like Cain. I hope that this was encouraging to someone. And may God bless you all.